Now it looks like a witchy kitchen. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Good lord, frog. Ugh. Frog in my throat, which is actually rather appropriate given what today's craft is, which is this herbal and floral drying branch that you see behind me. So I will admit I have never done this before, so this was a lot of trial and error for me. So if you've never done this before and you're kind of like me, watch so you don't make the mistakes that I did. If you have done this before, feel free to facepalm as you want to, because I know there were some things that I just probably stumbled through a little bit, mostly with how I tied things. So as you can kind of tell for this year, my theme for decor is going to be witchy. So true, honest, like witchy in autumn, things that a witch would have hanging up in their house or decorated around their house or outside of their abode, whether it be a cottage or whatnot. With that, I'm gonna go to past nicks as we craft this together. So what you're gonna need for this are a selection of flowers or herbs. I just picked up several different ones from a grocery store because I didn't want to wait long enough to go to my local farmer's market. I know, shame on me. I will probably go at some point this weekend to pick up anything that catches my eye there. Probably some very long-stemmed herbs since I didn't grab any of those. So I have 5 selections of plants here. A branch. Now, this is a rather thin one, mostly because of where I'm going to be hanging it from. I didn't want it to be too large and ergo too heavy and then risk pulling out the hook that is in my ceiling, because I would rather not have to deal with that personally. You're also going to need some twine. This is just some craft twine, still natural fibers. You could also use kitchen twine if that is your fancy as well. I just like this because it looks a lot more rustic. Some sort of shears, small shears, for your long-stemmed plants, especially if they are thicker. This way you can trim them down to the appropriate length that you want, because let's be honest, this might be a little too long for where you need it to hang from. You can also have a knife in case you need to untangle any sort of rubber bands that are already holding your herbs or flowers together. I would also highly recommend putting some paper down while you're doing this. And also, if you do buy anything from the store, keep the little flower food packets. You can use them for any flowers or any plants that you get in the future. First off, I have already trimmed a lot of the extra little snags and knots off of this branch. Although let's trim this one right here, because this was actually a much larger branch that I just kind of broke down to fit exactly where I needed it to be into my kitchen. So this also helps ensure that there is no unnecessary sharp areas on your twig or branch or whatever it is that you are hanging from your ceiling. Now that I have done that, I'm going to go hang this in place. I'm going to do that off camera, mostly so I can make sure I'm doing that safely, because I am actually not 100% sure that this exact branch is going to work where I need it to work. So I will be right back and I will show you what I have done. All right, this is what this looks like all hung up. Sorry, I decided to wait until daylight to actually show this to you. So I wrapped the cord around the branch, tied it into a knot at one end, and then just kept looping it again and again and again, tied it off against on itself, looped it up into this, back around and tied off again. So this isn't going anywhere. So I decided to do something similar also for this side, but since this is curving up, I decided to actually tie tie itself around one of these little knots here and looped around and everything else. Except I didn't have enough to loop around this, plus this is facing the wrong way, so it would have slid off. So I essentially tied it around my hanging decor here to keep it sturdy. So this eucalyptus is actually going to be the one bunch of plants that I'm not going to be able to trim too much off of because it's already got a pretty short stem as is. So I need to figure out where this is going to hang. Ideally, I wanted this to hang in the middle, but now I'm not so sure because I think it's going to be too low. I mean, it could work. Or I could do it right here. This, and then do flowers? Yeah. This is probably gonna have to go on one of the ends instead of in the middle. So I need to check the length of all of my flowers and see exactly where I need to cut. I have measured as best as I can with this. So now we're gonna get to cutting and to tying. We're gonna tie this bunch together with some twine. And then I'm also going to add a, like a loop, so to speak, of where I can, well, I think maybe a loop. I'm still trying to debate how best to attach this. So this may be my trial and error piece. This one we will learn together. Tie it together with twine. Now, it would have been smart to have fed this through beforehand. I have cut another piece of twine and I'm going to lay that against the section that I've already tied because I'm going to turn this into a loop. How I'm going to do that, because I didn't do this beforehand, which I will probably now do for the others, I'm going to tie around the eucalyptus like I did originally, but I'm going to be tying the new piece of cord into place. Now we have some twine, which we can tie around our hanging branch and hang this off of. Okay, so we're gonna do each end and then be in the middle because I want to make sure that this is going to be sturdy and this is going to stay. Now, I do not believe that this is going to be too heavy for this. It's the reason why I picked the flowers that I did, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. This would actually work far more ideally in a windowsill. But I decided to not do that. So, we're going to continue with the next one. We're going to snip and tie and then go from there. I now have all of these tied. You've seen me removing some leaves. I'm just removing some leaves that would be caught in the knots down here. Also removing some that look like they have seen much better days. Admittedly, I did pick up some flowers that were a little past their prime, but that's okay since I'm gonna have these drying anyway. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Now it looks like a witchy kitchen. It is now a few days later. I wanted to live with this to see if there's anything else I wanted to add to it. Now, this can just exist as is. I mean, I love it, it's gorgeous, but until the flowers actually really dry, it doesn't feel autumny enough. Yes, I got red flowers and dark greens and some more things in that hue. I think I could go a little bit further. So, I have some black leaf garland that is, that that you normally use for wreaths. It also happens to have some interesting petals in here that look like butterflies, but they're black. So I'm going to do the best that I can to try and see if I can wrap this around the branch. And I know I have some extra leaves that I could potentially wrap around as well. Well, not wrap around, but attach as well. And see if I can make it a little bit more of the true autumnal colors. Back, and we have a slight selection of some loose leaves that I have right now and some more black leaves. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure how I want to do this because I kind of just want them like stuck here and there, but truth be told, nothing is really keeping these in line. Like gravity is what's keeping these here. I think that's pretty successful. I mean, it definitely makes it more autumny and more me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a kitchen witch as the day is long, but I know there's a lot of black in this house right now. I mean, there always is, but even more so because of the seasons. So now this actually is cohesive with what is going to happen in the coffee bar. So I'm very excited for that. So I know this is more kind of like just me experimenting, trying to figure out what I like and what I don't like with this. But I hope at the very least this inspired you. I personally really like something like this because it screams autumn and witchy, but not necessarily Halloween, which, don't get me wrong, I am a Halloween girl. I definitely am. But sometimes I just like letting my inner witch out. If you enjoyed this, maybe even got some inspiration from it, please leave a like. Feel free to leave a comment. I enjoy reading all of your comments. Yes, Decor is coming out very, very soon. At least part 1 of Decor is coming out very, very soon. I just had some changes I had to make around the house, so I need to redo final shots. So with that, I will see you in the next one.